when it comes to SOP, I would highly suggest that it's necessary that you weave a good story out of it. It's the only place where you can be very flexible and you have total control over it. I took the inspiration from Steve Jobs' speech.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to SPodcast. In this episode, I have a very special guest with me, Atharva Ekatpure. He is one of the very few people, actually the only person I know in my network who has gotten an admit from Stanford for MS program in environmental engineering. So it's really an honor to have someone like him on our podcast. And if you haven't joined the YouTube channel, then smash that subscribe button because more podcasts will be coming with amazing persons like him. So without further ado, let's get started. So how are you, Atharva? How's it been since you've received your admit from Stanford?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me and thank you for that kind introduction. Yeah, it's been a very, very different kind of journey. And I've not told a lot of people, but the people I have told to have been told a lot of things to me. They have been very welcoming for me and it's been a very different experience. Yeah, for sure.
That's great. That's great. So I think many people will be waiting to know about what was your profile, which helped you to get into Stanford. So can you share the details like your GPA, GRE score, all the scores, your internship experiences?
Sure. So many people think that getting into Stanford, you need to be, a college gold medalist or need to have a gold medal at some Olympiad. But I think for getting into Stanford, it can also be done with a profile which is very achievable and it is not very extraordinary as well. For example, my profile, I did my BTech in chemical engineering at IIT Patna. I had a GPA of 8.48 and I was neither the branch topper nor the batch topper. And I had a GRE score of 324 and a TOEFL score of 115. And I think all of these are very achievable. The edge that I got while applying was my research experience. That I did my first internship at Vishwakarma University in Pune in my second year. Then I did my other second internship at IISc Bangalore, and then I got an internship opportunity through MyTax, a scholarship program at University of British Columbia in Vancouver. But unfortunately, it got cancelled due to the pandemic. And at the same time, the one thing that stood out, especially for applicants to Stanford, is that I have a small entrepreneurship journey because I co-founded a queue management system called QMe. So that's my overall profile. Yeah.
That's great. Actually, I'm associated with the Vishwakarma family. I am a student at VIT Pune. So it's great to know that you did an internship over there.
The research environment at Vishwakarma University is really good. The people were very welcoming, especially my mentor, Bharkande sir.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's great. That's good to hear. Hey guys, I, Sarvesh and Atharva have a very special announcement for you all. We are starting our graduate consulting service called GradViz. Last year, we've been through every nook and cranny of the process ourselves and have gathered insights which helped us to get into top universities in India as well as abroad. We want to share the same with you. If you need any help with MS, PhD or MBA applications in India or abroad, please reach out to us. If you need any college or university specific guidance, we will also connect you to students studying at those universities. In the resources section, you can check out my YouTube videos. In the blogs section, you can check out the blogs written by Atharva in which he shares his valuable experiences and learnings. Finally, in the consultation services tab, you can book a one-on-one appointment with us at a very affordable price. Check out the link in description, and now let's get back to the video. And which other universities did you apply to apart from Stanford, and what were your other admits? Would you like to share that?
Yeah, sure. So the main way of organizing the universities where you apply to are categorizing them into ambitious, moderate, and safe universities. So my safe universities were Colorado, Boulder, and Purdue. Moderate were UCLA and University of Illinois. Ambitious were Stanford, Georgia Tech, and UT Austin. So I received my first admit from UC Boulder in December, because I applied very early in November. I started applying. So I received my first admit in December. Then I started receiving further admits in March. I received admits from Georgia Tech and Stanford. And in April, I received an admission from UIUC and UCLA. And I received a reject from Purdue. I don't know why. In April, I would say. And if you go to my portal at UT Austin, it still says that the decision is still pending. So I don't know what they're waiting for. But based on the university rankings, based on the professors there, the research experience, the alumni network, and especially the entrepreneurship history of Stanford, I decided to go to Stanford.
Yeah. That's definitely true. Like Stanford is definitely famous for entrepreneurship, whereas MIT is famous for their research.
Exactly.
And our viewers can note that these college decisions can be sometimes very random. So he got into Stanford, whereas he got rejected at Purdue, or even he's waitlisted at UT. So don't get disheartened if you don't get an admit from one or two of your ambitious or say moderate universities, or even your safe ones.
Yeah.
So
sure. I would just say that the one thing that you can take away from my journey, I would say, is start applying as soon as possible, because then you also get a chance at scholarships. Although I did not get any scholarship, but I've heard people who have got scholarships that they applied early on, and that really helps. Yeah, sure.
I see. Okay. Yeah, that's a helpful point. And like you will be pursuing MS in environmental engineering, which is like an unconventional field. Like most of us go for electrical engineering or computer science, which is the most sought after branch. How did you develop an interest in the field of environmental engineering?
Yeah, so basically when I got into IIT, like in my first year at IIT Patna, I was very much into college activities. I took a lot of part, and therefore my GPA was ruined. Like my first year GPA was embarrassingly low. And after that, we had a summer break of 2 months, and I came to my home, and then I started reflecting back, and then I decided that all of these amounted to nothing, because after all, I'm at a technological institute and I needed to do something in my undergrad, that is in chemical engineering. So I started seeing the profiles of my professors who were there. So this is where I started. I did not know what I wanted to do at all. I just started looking after them, looking at their profile, and then I mailed them and started to do some small projects for them in different areas of chemical. But I did not gain any interest in it after doing, say, like 1 week or 2 weeks of project. And then I got to know that there was a guy on LinkedIn. He was from IIT Roorkee, and he had done a lot of internships. He had done an internship at ISC, then did an internship at EPFL in Switzerland, and then then he did an internship in Hong Kong, and then later on in Taiwan also. So and now he's doing a PhD at MIT. So basically what I got from him is that the more you do internships and the more exposure you get from other institutes, the better it is, the hustle part of your profile. So therefore I started applying to various institutes, anywhere I could do, I applied, and I know nothing on my resume. And I applied to Vishwakarma University. Unfortunately, the people said that, yeah, we have a spot at a water quality center for excellence at Vishwakarma University, and they deal in water quality and wastewater treatment. So I got to do a 1-month internship there, and like I did a lot of projects back, but I did not gain any interest in that. But once I started doing this, I started liking the work that was going into the process engineering part of it. And I also had a very good background to it, that you get to do something which is good for the society, which is good for the nature. So I had a small motivation. And from there, I started applying to professors at different IITs. So applied like 60-70 professors, and then I got a response from 3 to 4 of them, and one of them was from IISc Bangalore, and he was a very good professor, very at the top of his field. It was an unpaid internship, but I would suggest if you have an okayish background, which I had, then you can do, just for the experience, you can do an unpaid internship. And I had a great mentor. I had a great PhD guide, Seema ma'am, and she helped me gain 2 research papers. So I forgot to mention that in my profile section, but yeah, I had 2 research papers as a co-author, and one of them was from an IEEE paper. at an IEEE publication. So that was a good thing. And after that, I realized that I wanted to do more in this particular domain. And then I started applying and mailing to foreign institutions. So I got an internship opportunity at University of Houston, and another from there's an organization called MyTax, and they provide say around 1,000 students overall from the world, and they link them with professors at Canadian institutes, and they fully provide the traveling and everything. So fortunately, I was blessed to get an internship opportunity there, but my project was very lab intensive, and because of the pandemic, I could not go there, so it got cancelled. And later on, I also did a corporate internship at an environmental consultancy, just to get a feel of how environmental products are sold and how environmental market works. So yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So you have a good healthy balance of like corporate industry work experience as well as core research experience. And you mentioned, mentioned two really good points. That internships definitely help you to figure out what you like and what you don't like and what you want to do like further in your life. And also second thing is that if you're from a stable financial background, then don't go for the money. If you're getting a good opportunity, like you're getting to learn a lot at an unpaid internship, definitely go for it. Because even I've done all my internships, all of them were unpaid. So that's a good point which you mentioned. Yeah. And
yeah, that's true. I mean, the experience you get at the start, then you can go for then you develop a lot of skills, and then you can go for higher paying jobs or higher paying internships later on. And the best part is that when you apply at different institutes, not only do you get research experience or work experience, but you get to meet a lot of people, and you get to have a lot of experience, and you get to be independent. Yeah, that surely helps more.
Yeah, that's true. And like the experience which you get is like priceless. You can't put a price tag on that. And in the future, as you said, we can get like really high paying jobs based on this experience.
Based on the skills that you gain. And it also helps you to learn networking, which I think is a very underrated part of anyone who is successful. He has a very good network. Like you mentioned, that you have a wide network via LinkedIn or via your friends. And that helps a lot. It truly helps.
That's true. And another thing which you mentioned was that in your first year, your GPA was very low. Like I think this is the case with many students, and then they get disheartened, and then they don't know how to get back on track. So can you give any tips on how did you get back on track, and how did you improve your GPA? Because 8.48 is like a very good GPA. Like if you have improved,
Yeah. So 2 points. Firstly, I would say that when it comes to improving GPA, like there is no sort of shortcut to it. You have to attend classes, and I would say just attend classes. Don't take notes, but if the words like get echoed in your head, then you'll get a bit of an understanding. And especially if you like 1 or 2 classes, then you'll pay attention, and then you won't have to. You'll have to start at least a week earlier to exam. I mean, I'm not saying you have to study every day, but there is no shortcut, I would say, especially when there's exams offline. You'll have to study. And I mean, I had to work harder compared to the first year, because I had to maintain a GPA of more than 8.5 in later SEMs, so that my overall GPA could improve. But anyone who's getting a good GPA in the first year, they are very, it's very easy comparatively. So if anyone here is just starting out, I would suggest that don't miss out on classes in the first year. Do as much as you can. And the second point I would like to say, for those who want to go for MS, I've seen, like I did a very good analysis before applying, and I saw that there are various factors, right? So there is GPA is one factor, GRE is one factor, your research experience, work experience, and your SOP is a factor. So if you are applying for great institutes like say MIT, Harvard, then you need to be good in like these 4 to 5 factors, and you need to be excellent in at least one of them.
That's true.
That's my analysis. So
you need to be a jack of all and master of one of two.
Exactly. So even if you have a decent GPA, a decent GRE, don't get disheartened. You can explain that in your SOP why that sort of thing happened, and you need to be excellent at least one of them. You need to stand out in at least one parameters, and that's what my analysis. So even if you're not good at one thing, you can improve another thing and cover everything. That's okay.
Yeah, that's true. And as you said, like try to get a really high GPA in your first semester, because whatever is your GPA in your first semester, I've observed that for most of the students, it almost remains the same throughout the 4 years of engineering. So yeah, that's a really helpful point.
Exactly. And the last thing I would like to say is that if you have a good enough GPA in the first year, it also has a sort of pressure on you that you need to perform well in other aspects and
Definitely true.
in the continuing years also. So that surely helps. It does help.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. I've been there. So once you get a good GPA, then you have the mental pressure, family pressure, whatever you call it, to
Yeah,
continue your keep up your record. And
exactly.
yeah,
And people have this notion that you should not have any sort of pressure, and it's you'll get depressed and everything. But I think if a healthy amount of pressure is
yeah,
extremely necessary to achieve anything in your life.
yeah. And you have a like a very well-rounded profile. You have research experience. Your GPA is good. Your GRE score is good. But according to you, what was the most important component of your application that helped you to get into Stanford?
I would say the most important component I would say is statement of purpose,
Yeah.
because I think it's very overlooked, and it's the only place where you can be very flexible and you have total control over it. Other
Mhm.
things such as your resume, your GPA, all those are sort of the result of the 4 years of your work. But SOP is something that you can be very flexible about. And
Mhm.
when it comes to SOP, I would highly suggest that it's necessary that you weave a good story out of it, because I've seen many people go very technical into it and don't have a structure to what they're writing. But
Mhm.
I've seen that people who have very good writing skills, who can make a story out of what they have done, even if it starts with say failures where you don't know what you wanted to do and later on you grab. It's not like you know what you wanted to do
Mhm.
when you were like child. That very few people have that. So I would suggest that you can make a very good story out of it. And the two most important things in SOP is, firstly is your passion and second is your hustle. So
Mhm.
basically you need to know why you want to do MS, and
Mhm.
secondly you need to show what you have done so that you're eligible for it. And I would suggest people just go a place where it is very quiet, just sit down, just reflect on your thoughts about why do you want to go for MS, why did you do that internship,
Mhm.
what was the reasoning, because most of the time we do things subconsciously and we don't think about it. And SOP forces you to think and to tell why you did this thing, why do you want to apply for MS, and why this particular university. And
Mhm.
so in the first two paragraphs, I would suggest, in the first paragraph, what I did was I wrote about a story in which I said that how environmental engineering had that effect on me, where you are able to help people, and that's why I decided to pursue MS. Then in the next 2 to 3 paragraphs, I told what all internships I did in that environmental engineering domain, and what sort of publications I had. In the last second paragraph, I told about my extracurricular activities. So I was a
Mhm.
part of athletics team in my college, and I was part of TEDx, and I was part of Robocon. And at that point, I also explained that because of all those things, and because I did not know what I wanted to do, my
Mhm.
GPA also got very less. So that's in SAP you can also explain your weakness, and that's a very good part where you can. And so that's 4 to 5 paragraphs I would say. And in the last paragraph you explain why this particular university. So I
Mhm.
explained that Stanford, because it has a very good entrepreneurship culture, and the one or two professors really inspired me when I was applying for internships there. So this is how you can structure SOP. The more structure you give it, it will take
Mhm.
at least 1 or 2 months. And
Yeah,
I would
definitely.
say the more time you put into it, it really gives a very good knowledge to the person, and it has a very good outcome also.
Right, right. So, like, each one of us has our achievements or like resume points to say, but
Right.
SOP is all about like connecting the dots and weaving a coherent story and a
Exactly.
compelling
I
one.
mean, I took the inspiration from Steve Jobs' speech at I
At
guess it was at
Stanford.
Stanford only.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said that you while doing things you don't understand why you're doing that, but when you look back you connect all the
You
dots,
can connect the
and
dots looking backward.
yeah, exactly. And that sort of the sentence inspired me. So yeah,
Right.
sure.
That's amazing. And no wonder like that video was an inspiration for you. And after a couple of months, you got into Stanford. I'm sure it must be a great feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I felt very blessed at the point. It was unbelievable. I did not believe it at that time it happened, and I felt very blessed. And I would say that because of the pandemic, also it helped, because I think what happens in these very uncertain situations is that you get something which you never thought you would get, or you might not even get the very basic thing which you thought you would easily get.
True.
So in these circumstances, you can play around with your luck. You can apply to institute you never thought you would get, and because of pandemic and all these uncertain things where even the university needs more students, it sort of I had some sort of luck, I would say, in getting into it. Surely.
I see. And like you said that you had publications as well. So can you talk about what kind of projects you worked on? How did you approach the professor? And maybe a brief about your projects, and any tips on like paper publications, because a lot of students want to publish the papers, but they are unsure about how should they get started.
Yeah, sure. So the first way you can do it is you can work with your professors on their ongoing projects. So at ISC, I was working with the professor where an already ongoing project was going on. So the PhD, my ma'am wanted to get a paper out of it. So what I did was, by going there, I helped her doing so. So I helped her in the results, I helped her in sampling and doing an analysis. So I think that is a much easier and a much better way, because she was working on that project for a very long time. So the paper I knew was going to be in a very reputed journal. And when I apply to universities, they are obviously going to look at which journal I publish.
Yeah, definitely.
And so one thing you can do is, when you go for internships, try to have a sort of a journal in which you write what you have done each and every week or each and every month. I definitely didn't do it, but looking back, I think that if I could have done that, I could have even my own paper, because all of these were co-authors. I was not the first author, so you can do that. And the second way, I've seen people that they themselves work on projects. So they themselves might have done personal projects, and they might have done college projects under one particular course, and they try to write a paper out of it. And that's been done by people, and there are a lot of resources you can get, how you can write your own research paper where you're the first author. You can do it with a couple of friends. It might not be in a very reputed journal, but I think it's a very good experience, and you get that publication, and that's what matters in the end. Yeah, sure.
I see. Yeah, that's right. And do you think like your IIT tag help you to get these internships, or can students from tier 2, 3 colleges can also approach the professors?
Definitely, I think IIT, the brand of IIT, had an influence, but it did not have an influence in what many people think about. It did not help me get into Stanford directly, I would say, but it definitely did have an influence when I was applying for internship in my first place. So when I was applying for Vishwakarma University in Pune, I did not have anything on my resume. All I had was that because of IIT, it showed that I had worked hard for 2 years. So because of that, it definitely, it gave me a slight edge. And because of that first internship, I got the second and the third. And because of this whole
it starts a chain reaction
effect, yeah, exactly, the butterfly effect, I got into Stanford. So I would suggest that even if people from tier 2, tier 3 colleges, I would say that they also have a very good chance, because they just have to work harder. I would say the 5 to 10%, they have to have more sort of push, that they need to get that first internship, or they need to get that first project. And once they do that, they can do, because I've seen both ends of the spectrum. I've seen people who have got into much better IITs in IIT Bombay, but they have not been able to perform well. And I've seen people in the tier 2, 3
colleges,
very reputed colleges who are doing work at Google, or who are huge entrepreneurs right now. So it's all how you take it and how you make out of that situation. I had this approach that, you got IIT, so what? You need to work hard, or you got into tier 3 college, so what? That you need to work hard, have this hard approach. And I think then you need to work hard. It's not like being in IIT will directly get you. It definitely helps you, but it does not help you totally. Yeah.
Okay. So being complacent is harmful. So since you were not complacent, you were always willing to perform your best and achieve the next, or I'd say you were always wanting to achieve greater heights. So that is what helped you eventually.
Surely. I mean, I was just curious because I did not know what I wanted to do. And some people are lucky enough that they know what they want to do. And then it becomes an easy job, because if you like 80 to 90% of the job that you're doing, then it doesn't feel like a job itself. So even today, even if I know I want to do something in environmental, I don't know the exact field or exact job that I want. So it's a constant process of learning. And by doing a lot of internships, you go by the process of elimination, but that this won't work out, so you have lesser amount of options. This won't work out.
You
by
keep on eliminating the options.
Exactly. And that surely helps. And having that learning approach, the growth mindset, it definitely helped me a lot.
I see. Yeah, that was really nice. And nowadays, a lot of people stress about what should be your GRE score or what should be your TOEFL score to get into these top universities. Not only Stanford, even the Ivy Leagues or even other top universities. So you had a very great score of 324. But some people think that you should get a score of 330 plus, 335 plus. So what's your take on that? And another question is, how did you prepare for the GRE and TOEFL? Any general tips for the viewers?
Yeah, so basically, I would say that GRE and TOEFL are just a sort of a small barrier, I would say, a sort of an eliminating factor. If you have, I would say, a score of 310 plus or even a 320 plus, it's more than enough. You don't need to do more. I've seen people stress out over it a lot, just like you pointed out. And it's just an eliminating. I've seen people getting 319 and then got into MIT. I saw a person who did that, and I've seen people who got 335, 336, and they did not get into this. You need to understand from the perspective of the people who are judging you. So there's a table, 10, 11 people are sitting there and they are evaluating that. So they'll look at the complete package. They won't stress out on a particular thing. That's what has been my say from the very beginning. You need to have a complete package, not a very small thing. So I would say, even if you get a GRE, if you can re-give GRE, but do not give it at the expense of sacrificing your internships or your projects. If you have that time, if you feel no, that I could give more or that, I've seen people do that. And I literally had an example where one of my friends got GRE 330, but he got rejected from all the universities. He did not get admits from any one of them, all because he could not structure his SOP in a very good way, because those are human people. And you can't force out a thing that, from the age of 5, I wanted to do this thing. Because they know where you're lying, and they need to know the exact, their job is to literally point out where the liars are, where this person is lying, this person is not telling the truth. So be very confident, be very open-minded. Everybody has a different story, and all they want to see is what sort of a mindset you have and what you have done to cultivate that mindset. And as for your second question about GRE TOEFL, at the same time, don't ignore GRE TOEFL, because like I said, you need to have a minimum 310, 320, and it definitely helps. You can be excellent in that and have an advantage, obviously. For GRE, all those who have an engineering background, the quantitative part is easier. Like many have pointed that out. I think you also made a video, so you can check that out also.
You can check it out here. Thanks.
So that quantitative part, you don't have to stress. For the quantitative part, I would suggest give a GRE. First of all, give a GRE without any sort of preparation. Give a GRE. I gave a GRE and I got a score. I think it was 315 or something like that. And then in quantitative, I checked out in which particular areas was I not getting a good score. So in quantitative, all you have to do is just focus on where you're not getting a good score. In the other part, you have to just practice, which is easier. You don't have to do a lot of things. Like, you're already good at it, so don't focus on that, but focus on part where you're lacking. As for the verbal, there is no easy answer. Like, you have to, I would suggest that go to Manhattan 500 basic and advanced, the collection of words. Just don't look at it. I would highly suggest you write it. Write just the meaning of it and write an example from there, or you can even develop your own example by writing. All the senses are very much activated. So start that. I would suggest 2 to 3 months back. I would suggest don't overdo it. Don't start like 1 year back, because that won't help.
You'll get burnt out.
And don't even do it at like 10-15 days back. Think of a very good time. So I did it in my third year. My third year in November, my MyTax internship was fixed. So and I had to go in the next year's May. So I had 5 to 6 months and I had literally nothing to do. My internship was set and I was like sitting around what to do for 5 to 6 months. And I and Rucha decided that we need to work on GRE and all those stuff. So we came together, we decided what we wanted to do. And that's how I did it. I started preparing in December and I did a very intensive preparation in January, and Feb first week I gave GRE interview. Yeah.
Oh, and you first of all, like, shout out to Rucha. She's my friend from 11th and 12th standard, so she was the one who connected me with Atharva. So thanks a lot, Rucha.
Yeah, I mean, once she says something, I knew that I had to do it. So yes or no didn't matter. I just got on the call. Yeah, sure.
So, and recently I had done a poll on my Instagram. If you don't follow me there, follow me at SarveshP2608 and my podcast channel _podcast. So I had done a poll over there and we received a few questions.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, let's do a quick rapid fire.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So I'll read out the questions which I received. I've taken the best ones. Otherwise, we've covered the other questions in this podcast. So here we go. Can you rate out of 1 out of 10? How hard is it to get into Stanford?
I would say 9.
Okay. And what's the estimated cost at top universities like Stanford for a 2-year program?
It's very expensive. That's truly a disadvantage. I would say prepare at least 70 to 80 lakhs. That's the max amount, but you need to be prepared for the max. It's low. It can be much lower. I've seen people who have actually gotten money out of this 2 years because they did a lot of internships and TRA. But yeah, prepare for the worst. Yeah.
Okay. And what's a safe GRE score for Stanford?
I would say anything above 315 or 320 is safe. But the higher your chances are. So in my opinion, I think 325 plus is very good. After that, you don't need to worry about it. Yeah.
Okay. And one thing on your SOP that helped you to get into Stanford, any particular thing or a particular sentence or an experience?
I would say 2 things. Firstly is that I gave a short-term goal and a long-term goal. So I told that in the short-term basis, I would like to work on this research area at Stanford. And in the long-term basis, I told that what would be, I wanted to go into the R&D sector, wherein I can collaborate with markets and at the same time research. And the second point is I sort of told in my SOP which particular project with which particular professor I would want to do. So I said that this is one of the projects that I've been doing, and I would like to continue this with this particular professor. And I think that really showed that I had worked on, that I did my homework.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
So I think that was it for the rapid fire part. Moving on, what are your future plans after graduating from Stanford?
Like I said, it's not definitive at any point. The main reason that I want to go for MS is that they have a lot of flexibility, and there are different domains in environmental engineering, like air pollution, wastewater treatment, climate change, environmental data science. So all of these are there. Right now, although my internships were in wastewater treatment, I would like to go more into environmental modeling and environmental data science, because I think stage is going to be related to software or technology and all those. So I don't want to be left apart from that. So yeah, that's what my future plans are. Yeah.
I see. I wish you good luck for all your future plans. And I'm sure that you'll keep excelling to greater heights. And I hope you keep coming back to my podcast to share your great experiences.
Sure. So thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure and a honor. And I hope that when I come next time, you'll have something like 100K or 200K subscribers.
Thank you very much.
That amount of downloads, and I'm damn sure about it. Yeah.
That means a lot. Thank you. And before departing, any final advice for the aspirants who will be applying for fall 2022?
I would be able to give the best advice, say, after 3 to 5 years, when I really connect the dots backward, like Steve Jobs said. But right now, all I can see is that you need to apply as early as possible. That's really helpful. And secondly, network a lot. You get to know what all people are doing, where all. So the most I could have gotten was talking to a lot of people on LinkedIn who are doing MS at Stanford, Georgia Tech. And from these people's perspective, I mean, I'm just, because of their knowledge is what I could do what I'm doing right now. So all thanks to those people. Yeah.
That's great. Shout out to all of them as well. So thank you very much, Atharva, for sharing your valuable time and for coming on this podcast. It was really great to have you. and it was a really insightful discussion with you. I've been through the process, but still, it was as if I was reliving the process, and also I got some insightful points. So I'm sure that for our viewers who are new to this, it will definitely be very helpful. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, then please do so. Smash that subscribe button. Please hit the like button. If you have any other future queries or any video suggestions, then put them in the comment section below, and I'll be definitely ready to take those suggestions. Thank you, Vineet, for watching, and all the best. Bye-bye.
All the best, guys. Thank you.